So you're moving to Cincinnati, you've watched a few of our videos and you're like, hey, that guy's not a total idiot. I think I want to use that guy as my realtor. We're going to tell you what to do next. All right, hey guys, welcome back. My name is Eric Sztanyo from Keller Williams Realty and TeamStanyo.com, where we are helping you find your home and strengthen your family. Thanks so much for watching this video. I've been wanting to make this video for a little bit now, and it was confirmed earlier today when I was on a call with one of you viewers, and they're like, hey, you should probably make a video about what do you do if you want to work with you. And I thought, you know what? You're right. That's a really good idea. I should probably do that. As more and more of you are watching these videos, thank you for watching and subscribing. What does it look like if you're moving to Cincinnati, you're trying to buy a house, and you want to work with us at Team Sztanyo? That's what this video is all about. I've got 9 steps for you on what it looks like to work with Team Sztanyo and what that process looks like to get you under contract on a home. So this video is going to take you through watching a YouTube video, which you're doing right now, all the way until you get under contract on a house. We're not going to talk through in this video getting under contract through closing. That'll be another video, but I want to start it out with this one so you guys know what steps you should take next. All right, step number 1 to working with Team Sztanyo and buying your Cincinnati or Northern Kentucky home is watch our YouTube channel. Congratulations. You've already done it. Look at you. You're on your way already. So good job. Way to go, you. Okay, step number 2, and this one is very important. You have to pay me $5,000 fee before I will do anything for you.
What?
I'm just playing, y'all. You don't have to pay me a thing. I got you though there for a second, didn't I? You're like, who is this guy? No, you don't have to pay me a thing. If you've never bought a house before, how it works is the sellers or the builder, they're gonna be paying all the commission for the listing agent and the buyer's agent. If you're coming into town and you're using me as your buyer's agent to buy a house, you don't have to pay me a dime. I'm free for you to use. That's whether you're buying a resale home, or a lot of people don't realize this, even if you're buying new construction, the builder is the one who pays for my commission and my fee. Typically in the Cincinnati area, that's gonna be 6% total, 3% for the listing agent, 3% for the buyer's agent. You as a buyer don't have to pay a thing. Now, if you go to sell that house down the road, you have to pay that full 6%. That comes out of the sale of your house, but when you're buying, it doesn't cost you a thing.
It's free, it's convenient.
A lot of people don't realize this on the new construction, which is why I bring it up again. The builders already got that built into their numbers for buyers to have a buyer's agent on their side. Most builders welcome that because they like having the buyer to have some representation on their side. So if you are looking at new construction in the area, whether it's Fisher Homes or Drees or MI Homes or a custom home builder like Zika or Five Daughters Construction, something like that, what you want to do is make sure you're working with your realtor to make that introduction. That way there's that threshold meeting. Otherwise, the builder might try to cut that agent out of the deal and you won't get the representation. Okay, step number 3 to working with us is reach out. Give us a call at 513-813-6293 or email me directly at eric.sztanyo@kw.com, and either myself or someone on our team will get back to you within 24 hours and we'll get the process going. It's a good chance after that first time you reach out to us, we might email you a buyer questionnaire Google form that we have just to get some simple information and get an idea of some of the basics about your situation and what you need to do in terms of buying a house here in the Cincinnati area. Okay, step number 4 is a fun one. It's what we call the buyer consultation. Now that's either gonna happen in person if you're in town or you're here for a visit, or we can do that via phone or even a Zoom call, Google Meet, something like that.
Hi, Karen. It's Karen. How are you?
And this is just where we're getting to know each other a little bit better. You're still kind of interviewing me and seeing like, do I trust this guy? Is he competent? Do I want to work with him? So you're under no obligation still at this point. But maybe a little bit more importantly, well, I don't know if it's more important. It's important for me to do my job. I am getting to know you. I'm getting to know a little bit more about your story. I'm asking questions about your motivation, getting into the details of what you might be looking for and why that's best for your family. We say here on the channel that we believe home is where your family grows strong together. And we believe that very deeply. If you don't know, I have 5 kids, and the rhythms and the practices and what we do in our house matters so much. It's a huge character in our story and is in any family story. And so every family is different. Every family has different needs. And so in this buyer consultation, what we're doing is we're finding out those needs. We're also kind of finding out those wants, your needs and wants. And we're kind of sorting out your criteria, trying to discover what is most important to you. So we're trying to figure out your top criteria, and that more than likely is going to change as we go through this process. It might not, but most of the time when I'm working with buyers is we have an idea of what matters the most to you, and then when we get a little bit further on in the process, some of that might switch a little bit. You might find that something that you thought was really important is a little less important, and something that wasn't important is a little more important. So that's totally okay for that to happen. We're trying to understand what that might be at the beginning of this process, and it'll solidify as we go. Okay, step number 5 and 6 might be interchangeable, but we're gonna say number 5 is to connect you with local lender and get pre-approved. Now, if you're not buying with cash, we need to figure out your financing, how you're gonna get a loan. You can certainly use your current bank and lender that you're using. You can use an online service such as, Rocket Station or something like that. I always like to use a local lender, and I've got a few here that I work with again and again. I don't get kickbacks with them or anything like that. That's illegal to do, but I use them again and again because they've proven themselves to be good for my clients. And the other reason that I like local lenders is that as you get closer to closing, things can happen that slow down the process, or there's problems or hiccups that come along. It's always nice to be able to text the lender and be like, hey, we got to get this thing figured out, be able to walk into their office, see them face to face. They show up at closing. Someone that's here that I know that I've used before, they're incentivized to get the job done and make sure it works best for your clients. And why? Because I'm going to probably send them more clients. So there is a referral relationship there. But as opposed to using a bigger bank that might have a bigger service department, if you have a problem and you make a call, you might be speaking to somebody different every time. You can go that route. I just personally prefer to use local lenders who I've used again and again, and will probably connect you with them at this point in the process. So you're gonna meet with them. You're free to talk to multiple lenders that I send you and interview and basically do the same thing that we're doing here. Interview them and kind of decide not only who has the best rates, but who do you have a good rapport with and who do you wanna work with going forward for the loan of your house. If you're thinking about new construction, oftentimes the builders will give you an incentive if you use their lender. That's something you might want to consider too. So just one thing to think about there, if you are buying a new construction house in the Cincinnati area, you can talk with the lenders that I send to you, but you can also talk with the lender that the builder uses in-house and kind of compare apples to apples, see which way you might want to go. All right, step number 6 is let's start looking at houses. So I'm gonna set you up based on the buyer consultation, based on the criteria you gave me of your budget and location and neighborhoods and number of bedrooms and all the stuff we talked about in the buyer consultation. I'm gonna set up different MLS searches for you, which are basically gonna email you new houses every time it hits and matches your criteria. Now, I typically recommend to buyers not to spend a lot of time online looking at houses until you've gotten that pre-approval letter from the lender, because it's still a seller's market. There's still low inventory, and houses that you're looking at are probably gonna be gone before you have any chance to put an offer on them. If you're doing it to try to gain some information about the market and what general prices things are going for and how long things are staying on the market, I think that's fine. What I wanna caution you on is wasting hours upon hours. Especially what I wanna caution you on is don't let your heart get involved in any one house that you see online.
No.
Remember that real estate photographers are very good at their jobs, and so what you're seeing online may be different than what you go see in person. But at this point in the process, I'm gonna be sending you houses to look at. If you have searches set up on Zillow or Realtor.com or Redfin or some other site like that, feel free to keep those, I always say, because the advantage of the MLS, and just so you know, there's both a Cincinnati, Ohio MLS and a Northern Kentucky MLS, or two different states, so there's two different MLS. So if you're looking in the entire area, you'll get emails from two different MLS sites. So feel free to keep your website and your search portals to find something that might possibly get filtered out from the MLS.
That is a brilliant idea. I cannot believe I didn't think of that.
I always try to keep the MLS searches fairly broad so that I don't filter out something that might work for you just because inventory is so low right now. The biggest advantage of the MLS is it's the source of the information. So any realtor that is listing a house, it goes to the MLS first. That can get to you first. So you may have an advantage of speed before it syndicates out to the other websites of the world like Zillow and Realtor.com, etc. So you're gonna get that information from the MLS first, and sometimes that might be helpful in beating out another buyer. All right, step number 7 is to go on a home tour. Let's go look at homes. So hopefully you can schedule a visit to the Cincinnati area if you're from out of town, or if you're in town. We're gonna schedule a tour, we're gonna go home shopping, and what we wanna do is pick your top 5 to 7 to 8 favorites of all the houses you're looking at. Again, some of these, if they're priced right and the condition is really nice, they're gonna get scooped up really fast. They're gonna be on the market for 1 or 2 days max, probably be in multiple offers still. So whenever you are ready to actually schedule that tour, that's when we're gonna look at the houses that are active at that moment in time and create our tour of your favorite homes that we wanna go see. Now this might be me going out and showing you houses. It might be a showing assistant on our team, another agent that is qualified to go and help you get in these houses and kind of give you some information about what you're seeing in the house. But what I love about this point of the process is I talked about that criteria earlier on that we had in the buyer consultation. Once you actually get out there into the neighborhoods and seeing these houses in person, your criteria starts to solidify even more. This is where you really find out, you know what, I thought we wanted an open floor plan, or I thought we really needed a walkout basement or a 3rd finished bath, or whatever the thing is. And you realize, you see what's out there on the market and you say, no, what we really want is this. Like, this is most important to us. And so I always like this part of the process, because so a lot of buyers are worried about like, oh, we don't want to waste your time seeing a lot of houses. And I appreciate that.
Thank you, that's actually very sweet.
But remember, this is my job and we want to make sure we find you the right house. Now, if we're getting to like 20 houses and you haven't made an offer yet, I'm going to be kicking you in the butt a little bit. But if we're talking like 5, 10, even 15 houses, the right one's gonna surface. And I like going through that process with our buyers, because it becomes really clear as you're out there, like, oh, this is what I really want, not this. All right, moving on to step number 8, you found the right one. You found the house that you wanna make an offer on. So step number 8 is we're gonna make an offer. I'm gonna walk you through this entire strategy on the offer, and it depends on a lot of different factors. It depends on, did the house just hit the market and it's really competitive and we've got to beat out other buyers, or has the house been on the market for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks? And that's a very different kind of strategy when it comes to making the offer. I'm gonna walk you through all those steps when we're in person. But basically, like on this side, you've gotta be way more competitive and probably aggressive with your offer. But if it's been out there for a little bit, you can probably be a little bit less aggressive and might even be able to go under ask price and maybe even get a little bit of a discount. So some of the things we're gonna talk about in the offer when it comes to that point is, what is our offer price gonna be? How much earnest money are you gonna put down? Earnest money is simply, it goes to a third-party escrow. If you go under contract and close on the house, it goes towards the money you need to bring to closing. Essentially, it goes towards the purchase price. There are roughly 3 contingencies in the Kentucky and Ohio contract, and I need to do a whole nother video on contracts, and I'll probably do that. You've got some protection around your inspection, around your financing, and around the appraisal, where if you need to, you can back out of the deal if you find something you don't like or something doesn't work out, and get that earnest money back. With the offer price, if we need to get more aggressive, we might consider doing something like an escalation clause, which is essentially like the max bid feature on eBay. If you've ever bid on something, it's like, this is the highest I will go, but you're not outbidding yourself, you're only bidding over the highest other offer. So if you're in a multiple offer situation, we might use something like an escalation clause that says, I'll beat any other written offer you have by $1,500 up to X price. And that's helped my buyers win a lot of different multiple offer situations in the last few years. A few other things we need to determine are we gonna ask for closing costs or not? Again, that goes back to, is it a competitive situation or not, and how that positions you as a buyer. Really what matters to the seller is, in the end, is the net price. How much are they actually gonna get? So for example, an offer of $405,000 with $5,000 in closing costs, that's a net $400,000. It's the same as an offer of $400,000 with no closing costs. But to the seller, if they have 2 buyers who both do that, they might take the no closing cost buyer, because it just positions you as a stronger buyer who doesn't need that extra $5,000 cash at closing. And so in their minds, it might say, oh, this person's a little bit stronger. A few other things we need to finalize are just the date of closing and how long are we gonna leave the offer open for them to respond to. Like I said, I'll try to do another video or two about the contracts themselves, just so you guys can get familiar with it, because I know different MLS boards are different in different states, and the contracts might be a little bit different than where you live in your state. So want to make sure that's clear. If you ever have any questions, just ask. All right, step number 9, final step. You've made your offer. Maybe you had a little bit of negotiations with the seller, but now you get under contract. Woohoo!
Congratulations.
So you've seen all the other houses that have gone pending in a day or two. Now you're the one who's gone pending. Congratulations. We did it. We got your house under contract. Now you are pending and not someone else. This home is yours. You've locked up your Cincinnati or Northern Kentucky house. You're ready to go. That's the process, guys. That's what it looks like to work with Team Sztanyo, from you reaching out and watching these videos all the way to getting a home under contract. Like I said, I'll probably do a video in the future about what that next phase looks like from getting under contract to closing. But for now, hopefully that was helpful for you on what it might look like to work with us here at Team Sztanyo and the process for buying a house. Just one other thing I want to hit before we close out on this video is, what does that look like remotely? What if that looks like if you can't come into town? So we can do a lot of this stuff via email, via phone call, via Zoom. You can sign any document remotely via DocuSign is what we use. Let's say you can't get in town to see a house, but you want to go see it. What I can do is get on the MLS. I can look at the agent remarks, which are like the secret remarks that only us qualified agents get to see. I can send you the property disclosure so that you can review that and see if there's any material defects with the home. And either myself or, like I said, one of my showing assistants can go do a virtual tour where we're on a Zoom call or Google Meet or whatever, and we're at the property walking you through the house. So if you can't be here, we try to do whatever we can remotely. Let's say also you come into town, you get something under contract, but obviously you're not staying here for the next 30 days until closing, so you're going back home. I'll get into this in the other videos, but again, we're gonna walk you through that process in terms of the inspections, doing whatever we need to do to help you close the home remotely and make sure you can move to the area and that process goes smoothly for you. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching this video. I hope that it was helpful for you to understand what it looks like to move to the Cincinnati area, work with a realtor remotely, and what it looks like to work with myself and Team Sztanyo. We've got some assistants that help, our transaction coordinators, some showing assistants. We're working to bring on more administrative help and some buyer's agents in this next year as we're ramping up. But I appreciate you guys watching. If this was helpful, please like the video below. Please subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next time.